Okay, welcome to another tutorial from Cut Corner Studio. This one is going to be an absolute blitz through because we've got a huge amount to get through, so I'm going to work very quickly doing it. So you may be required to sort of pause it, pause it, rewind, because there is quite a lot in this one. This is really for your kind of advanced learners, possibly those who've been using this for a little while, in terms of just watching this and actually sort of fathoming what it is we're talking about here. When you go to our blog post, as per usual, you'll find the blog post on our website, which is found at cutcorner.co.uk. The link is found within the description of this particular YouTube video if you're on YouTube. But if you found us through Google, then you'll be sat there on this page right now. But just going into the tutorial file that you're going to download, and once you've extracted it, you're going to find 4 assets. The final piece of work that you're looking for, now this isn't Fantastic Four from early millennium, we're talking about the one that's coming out really shortly. Hopefully the trailer looks really, really good. The trailer's at the top of the blog post, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a really, really good movie. But what we've done is used Inkscape and GIMP to generate a kind of version of the most contemporary Fantastic Four logo, which we think looks really, really cool. But we're going to show you a few tricks to be able to generate something like this that you using actually things that you already probably have on your computer, and certainly in particular typography settings that you already have. So anyway, right, let's get moving. So very, very quickly, oh sorry, excuse me, I just want to elaborate on what else is there. You've got the final version that we did in Inkscape, a metal texture which is been set on Google Images for set as reuse, so we can use that as much as we want with no bother from anyone. And also the final GIMP file, because we're going to zip from Inkscape straight into GIMP. But very, very quickly, I'm going to move straight to Inkscape and set your document properties. When you go to File and Document Properties, to black as your background, so that'd be 6 zeros FF to make sure that your background is black. And I've just set the width and height of document to 1000 to 650. Okay, right. Bit of a cheat, but as I say, there's quite a bit of work to do, so I'm trying to work as smartly as I possibly can. I've gone in and had a look at Fantastic Four 2015 logo, and I found this originally, so I'm going to use this as kind of my my precedent, my inspiration, if you like. So I'm just going to paste that in. It's coming quite big because it's about 2000 so pixels wide, so I'm just going to size it down. Make sure your padlock's locked in so it doesn't warp. And I'm then just going to very quickly get this middle one and come out a bit more so I can see what's going on. Right, first things first, let's work on the 4. And what I'm going to do is just go to View and Grid, and I've set my grid spacing to 50 by 50. Now if you go into any of our past tutorials, the Green Lantern, the Flash, I'll show you how to do that. So just navigate back to our channel to see what we're talking about there. Right, very quickly I'm going to create a square. And using my alignment tool, I'm just going to ping it to the middle, and that's my relative to the page and down, so it's right now smack bang in the middle of the page. I'm going to use this particular image to be able to get my colouring, so I'm just going to get my colour dropper out, and I'm just going to select the nicest shade of blue that I can. Okay, that looks about right. I'm going to take my grid off so I can scale this properly. And I'm just going to duplicate a version, change the colour so I can see what's going on. Okay, and all I'm going to do is hold down Shift and bring this top shape in a little bit, so I've got kind of quite a thin edge. Let's select both boxes, go Path, Different, so I've got my outline. Now, this is where one of the, I'm very quickly just going to make sure that's right in the middle again. I'm going to size this down slightly. And this is where we do something quite resourcefully, I guess, if that's the word. And I'm gonna go and find a font which is right at the top of my list, called Century Gothic. Now, if I click, I've set the font type up to 144, which is as big as I can get it. Just make it go white, you can see actually that it's quite similar to the font that we've got in the original. I'm going to scale that up so it goes right to the top, and I'm just going to very quickly use my arrow key to nudge that along a bit more to the left. So just going to color drop to select that and make that the same color, and I'm just going to path and union these two elements, so the number and the box have now become one. So now I want to try and get that kind of dark color in there as well, so using a radial gradient, I'm going to start in the middle of the element and pull down, so I've got this kind of effect. It's not quite finished yet because I need to go back to my color dropper and select a darker blue. I'll just tweak that gradient up a bit more. Okay, now what I'm now going to do is I'm going to duplicate this again, and I'm going to make it go white. I'm going to pull it aside, I'm going to get a circle, and I'm just going to go over the corner like that. Select both. I'm going to use path intersection, and that kind of takes a chunk of it away. Now if I zoom in a bit more, actually I've managed to get that dead on pretty quickly. I'm now going to use my gradient, use my radial gradient this time, and very quickly, if I can select the right element, pull that down and get that closer to the top there. Okay, so that's kind of got that sort of shine on it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to where my stroke and fills are. I'm just going to just slightly blur that out so it looks a little bit more kind of shiny. Okay, so that's like that, and using my radial gradient again, I'm just going to pull that down there like so. Now as you can see, there's kind of like that little sparkle at the top right hand corner. Where I do that, I think I've gone a little bit too far. I'm just going to pull that down and stick a circle over the top corner, and using my blur tool, just going to blur that out even more, quite far, maybe even 30. So as you can see now, maybe even need a little bit more. There you go. So I've got my for and my logo sorted out, and now I'm just going to put the last of the words in. So using Century Gothic, making sure my cap lock is on. I'm just going to go FANT, and I'm going to color drop that. That shouldn't be going. There we go. So I'll choose it slightly. There you go. I'm going to change the font size to around 110. And then using this tool here, which is my sort of text, my letter spacing settings, I'm just going to pull that out so the letters are quite far apart. Okay, now I'm going to close my strokes because I don't need that for a second. I'm just going to push that in relation to the page right to the end, and I'm going to duplicate this and send the duplicate version right to the other end. And I'm just going to change that to stick, place that there. Now both font and stick, I want that sort of vertically in the middle as well, so if I hit that, that should then send that to the top. You can see this is now taking shape. I'm going to nudge this along with my keypad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that it looks sort of, the spacing looks quite similar. Nudge that along there as well. That's all in place. Now if I if I right click and group that now, or in fact if I go to object and group and now send that to the middle, that's now sat. Now I'm going to very quickly ungroup it, and I'm going to place a stroke by right clicking on the white and set a stroke on the FANT and the STIC. I'm going to do exactly the same, but in these both cases I'm going to hold down shift and select both elements. I'm going to bring up my strokes again, but rather than keep it as a solid fill, I'm just going to click radial gradient, and that adds that kind of effect to that, which is what I'm wanting. Actually, if I go back, it's quite an interesting effect. That's not the one I wanted. If I go to stroke paint, sorry, and click radial gradient this time, that then adds that effect that I needed. Okay, and now what I'm needing, I think that's a little bit too strong. I'm going to bring that down to 80. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And then what I'm now going to do is try and create that smoke effect, which is around the back of the 4. So what I'm going to do is just get a circle. I'm now going to align it to the middle, vertically and horizontally. And I'm going to get my color dropper. I'm going to select the back. I'm going to right click and remove that stroke that's appeared. And I'm just going to get a blur to about 18. I think that's good. Just going to tweak that a little bit and pull that down, because you can see that smoke seems to be further towards the bottom than it is towards the top. Push that in place, and then I'm going to go to Object, Lower to Bottom, and that's now ready. I don't need that anymore. What I'm now going to do is export that, ready for an edit in GIMP. So I'm just going to go Export Bitmap, and I'm just going to call that, set that up, we call that tutorial, background, hit save, and export it 150 dots per inch so it's nice and crisp. Okay, minimize that. Now on my desktop I can find what I've exported, open that with GIMP, and I'm going to go into my, once I've sized down the interface, you can see there it is looking quite clean, and we kind of want metallic texture over the top. So what I'm now going to do is move in, go Fantastic 4 tutorial folder, and I'm just going to click and drag the metal texture over the top of it. Now don't be too alarmed if you can't see your artwork, because we're going to do something to the layer here. We're going to go from normal to overlay, and I'm just going to bring that to 90 in this instance. Hit OK, layer, merge down, and I'm just going to go File, Overwrite Tutorial, background. I'm now going to quit GIMP because I don't need it, and when I open that up, there's your Fantastic 4 logo. All done. Okay, so thank you very much for watching that. I hope that that was of use to you. Please send your versions in. I'd be really interested to see how you got on with that, because I kind of blitzed through that in approximately about 13.5 minutes. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you've seen this on our blog post, please comment on the quality of it. I hope that you can connect with us on Google Plus and leave us a review. Look forward to speaking to you again. Bye.